All right, y'all. As promised, I'm here on the Project 2025 website. Let's jump straight into it. Let me minimize myself. Let's go through this website. All right. Okay. So in the last video, I read their mission statement or whatever. It's not enough for conservatives to win elections. If we are going to rescue the country from the grip of the radical left, we need both a governing agenda and the right people in place to carry this agenda out day one of the next conservative administration. This is the goal of 2025 presidential transition project. The project will build on the four pillars that will collectively pave the way for an effective conservative administration. I do want to say this. All right, because Trump just recently he got locked up. Right. I do want to say this. And I was having this conversation with a wonderful young lady on the airplane while I was on my way here to Atlanta. Um, the problem with Trump being convicted now is that you've now galvanized his base and you gave them a reason to hate Democrats. Like you've given them like ample ammo to like, oh, we hate you. You tried to take our guy from us. You know what I'm saying? So he probably can. He's gonna have an easier time reactivating his base and getting people really involved. You're gonna see different conservative people like really get involved here. And the problem on the Democrat side, and this is what I was talking to her about, is that Dems, we don't even have a reason to be happy or upset. We have nothing. We have nothing. There's no galvanizing factor to get us out motivated to actually, get busy. You know what I'm saying? To get involved. There's no factor at all. Um, so with that being said, I think it's highly important that we find something to motivate us, and I believe this is it. And I think more people should double down and triple down on explaining what Project 2025 is and all the bad things of it. All right, so we're going to read their policy agenda, right? So building on the it says building on the legacy of mandate for leadership, this comprehensive blah blah blah, whatever. So anyway, boom. Let's open the policy agenda. All right. So Mr. and Mr. and Mrs. and Miss Smith can to come to our Washington or oh my god. Anyway, boring, boring, boring. All right. This book, okay. Read the mandate. So yeah, I'm gonna read. Let's read the mandate. Mandate for leadership. Conservative promise. All right, let's get into it. Get down here. All right, because this is the stuff that's really bad. All right, so these are the names of the people that wrote each section. When you see like Christopher Miller, you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of, but there's another person that once I realized like who these people were, like that about Ben Carson. Come on, man. Like it just reeks of a bad day. It reeks of a bad day. Anywho, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of this. Uh, so all of these are organizations that are I'm gonna scroll this really slow. These are all organizations that are assisted in this uh in this project. You know what I'm saying? And laying out what they're gonna do and what when they want to do it and how they want to do it. The fact that they made this freely available for everybody. The Honest Elections Project, really, really honest. You no, you don't support honest. You support whatever gets your candidate in there. Independent Women's Forum Institute. Da 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 da. Keeps going. Keep going. Keep going. All right. So boom. So boom. That's everybody, right? Now let's get into some of these, right? Mandate for leadership, the conservative promise. It's not 1980, it's 2023. The game has changed. The long march of cultural Marxism through our institution has come to pass. The federal government is a behemoth weaponized against American citizens and conservative values with freedom and liberty under siege. Like, bro, like this is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like this language, they're trying to hype it like there's some greater bad thing that's going on. Most people, if you tell them a liberal policy, right? And you can find this with conservative policies too. If you just strip it down bare bones and you just tell them like, hey, this is what it is and this is what it sets out to do, most even conservatives will go, oh, that sounds like a pretty good idea. That sounds like a pretty good idea. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't tell them where it came from, like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? And most people go, yeah, that's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad. And they go, oh yeah, it was brought by AOC. What? No, it's terrible. It's a bad idea. We shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden, it's like a terrible thing, and you'll find out the same thing when you find out like a certain thing was like being spearheaded by give it to a liberal, and you go, oh, it's being spearheaded by Ted Cruz. Oh my God, it must be the devil incarnate. Like that's not it. That's not it at all. Um, Pillar one. This volume in uh, puts in place a consensus view of how major federal agencies must be governed, and where disagreement exists, brackets out those differences for the next president to choose a path. It is a personnel database that allows candidates to build uh, their own professional profiles and coalition members to review and voice their recommendations. These recommendations will then be collated, collated and shared um, with the president's elects team, greatly streamlining the appointment process. The Presidential Administration Academy, an online education system taught by experts from our coalition. Great, 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 great. They're living in isolation. This is just a super echo chamber. That's what that is. Pillar three is an echo chamber for. Oh shoot, let me put this back large. For the newcomer, this will explain how the government functions and how to function in government. For the experienced, we will host in-person seminars with advanced training and set the bar on what is expected of senior leadership. How are y'all, these people, how are people that weren't elected to president dictating the president and the presidential administration? Does this not seem like a red flag to y'all? Like at like super red flag? No, 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 no. Everybody's just okay with this. Um, and then pillar five, the playbook. We are forming agency teams and drafting training transition plans to move out upon the president's utterance of "So help me God." Wow, they are they are crazy. Anyway, let's get down into the meat. Let's get down to the whoops, the meat and potatoes here. All right, y'all. So peep this. The Heritage Foundation is once again facilitating this work, but dozens of partners, hundreds of authors will attest. This book is whatever. Stop this fluff. This whole paragraph is just fluff. Anyway, there are four broad points fronts that they want to decide that they think will decide America's future. Is restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. That's not a bad statement. Dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. We know what self-governance looked like. It ends up being very racist. Defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. That sounds like that sounds like straight. That sounds like a dog whistle. Number four sounds like a dog whistle. It sounds like a dog whistle for like some racist behavior. Like the only time I've heard that number four is like when people are talking about like manifest destiny and different things of that nature, and it always ends up going south for people of color, especially black people. What makes these four pieces of government conservative promise so valuable to the next president is that they cut through superficial distractions and focus on the moral and foundational challenges America faces in this moment in history. This is one of the secrets of conservative success in the Reagan era. Man, dude, they just keep going back to Reagan. One of our generation, one of our generations should emulate. One our generation should emulate. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's get to something else. Let's get to something else. Today's America's family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black children. Hold on, we got a fact check. Okay, y'all, I'm back after doing extensive research. So what I've been able to find out here is that there's one study that cites data from 2015 that says black women, unmarried black women, have are having children. Well, black unmarried women are having children, and in 70 when they do have children, black anyway. Anyway, the way it reads is stupid. Needless to say, what they said in there is false. Okay, there's one study that supports it that says, and it's based on 2015 data that says 77.5% or 77.4% or whatever. Every other study has the number about 69. So it's right here for blacks. The number is for the final data, and this is in 2018. So for all racial, so let me read this for y'all. For all racial ethnic groups combined, it is 39.6% of births in the United States are out of wedlock. And additionally, always tremendous range among groups. For instance, blacks are at 69.4%. For American Indians, natives, the Native Americans, um, they are at 68.2%. Hispanics are at 51.8%. But I do want to say this: Pacific Islanders are at about 50%. It's 50.4%. Whites are at 28.2%, and for Asians it's only 11.7% because they do live by like starting a family and doing that. So this more than 70% is false. They just literally took the worst data set possible and just threw it out there. There's no even accounting for 2015, there was no spike up in unmarried children. Like it's been at that same like 68 to like 70% range this entire time. It's been somewhere in between there. This entire time. It's been the same rate of kids. All right. So to replace the fatherless list, one principle like so look, say see so here's the thing. They're like there's no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of the father. Fatherlessness is the principal sources of the American crime, poverty, crime, and mental illness, teen suicide, and all the other good stuff. Like that's all true. That's all very true. But at the same time, like I think they're just being disingenuous. Okay, look, after going through that material, I'm sorry I keep cutting away from you guys, but it's written poorly. Okay, it's written poorly and it's written in a way to try and hide information. Okay, and I don't want to bore you guys. So after reading it on my own, I came to the conclusion, and also reading the wiki, it's pretty much the same thing without all the fluff. They do want to get rid of DEI. So here's the thing. So Project 2025, also known as the Presidential Transition Project, is a collection of policy proposals to fundamentally reshape the yeah, let me zoom in a little, just a little bit more. 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 How that look? All right, yeah, that look good. That look good. That look good. You looking good. All right. Bet. So anyway, um Project 2025 is blah, 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 fundamentally reset the United States federal government in the event of Republican victory in 2024 presidential election. Established in 2022, the project aims, excuse me, to recruit tens of thousands of conservatives to the uh, District of Columbia to replace existing federal civil servants whom Republicans characterize as part of the deep state and to further the objectives of the next Republican president. Okay, so look, that first part, that first thing right there, that is literally creating its own deep state. You're literally creating an echo chamber for only what you want to see happen. There are laws, okay, federal laws in place to protect these civil servants, okay? None of these employees, some of these employees have worked under numerous administrations, Democrat and Republican. I don't think it's correct to remove somebody just because they might vote for Biden or they might not go, I think abortion's okay. I don't think that's a good reason to get rid of anybody from a job. Okay, you're talking about something moral. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about like a morality thing. I don't think that if you're talking about an employee that's not doing their job or doing a crime, sure. But when you're talking about just replacing them just so you can have a bunch of yes men, they're talking about tens of thousands of yes men in DC. They're basically trying to just remove everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see how people aren't raising a higher alarm to this. And that's another thing I was talking about to the young lady on the plane. I'm like, this is the worst thing I have ever read in my life. I'm 33 years old. I have not seen anything this close to reading Jim Crow itself since Project 2025. And it's technically, I'd beg to argue, worse because Jim Crow just we just don't like black people. This is we don't like anybody that doesn't agree with us. Anybody that's not getting on the program, Democrat, Republican, or other. You better be a part of this conservative agenda. You better serve this president. And we're not doing any. They basically get rid of elections. Anyway, let's keep going. It adopts a maximalist version of Unitarian executive authority. Unitarian executive authority is a legal theory in the United States congressional law that holds that the president of the United States possesses the power to control the entire federal executive branch. The doctrine is rooted in Article 2 of the United States, which a widely disputed interpretation of Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States, which asserts that the president has absolute power over the executive branch upon inauguration. Thank God there's regular people. Project 2025 envisions widespread changes across the federal government, particularly with regard to economic and social policies and the role of the federal government and its agencies. The plan proposes slashing funding of the Department of Justice. Why you would only want to slash the Department of Justice if you are the one committing crime? Dismantling the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Department of Homeland Security. Who's going to defend the border and who's going to defend us from terrorists? Who 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 That's what those organizations do. There's a whole bunch of threats that you have never seen before and you've never heard of, and ignorance is fucking bliss. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what they know. Okay? Those dudes, when they're done, they need therapy and a lot of fucking medication. And that's a small price to pay for all of us to be okay. Those people are willing to make that sacrifice of their mental, physical well-being, emotional well-being. And just like, nah, F it, we're gonna cut them. And then he's like sharply reducing environmental and climate change regulations to favor fossil fuel production and eliminating the Department of Commerce and ending the independence of various federal agencies such as the Federal Communications, the FCC, and the Federal Trade Commission. You want those things separate so they can do their job without being influenced by the president or whoever's in power. You want those organizations to be able to do their effing job in peace. Like FCC, really? It just prevents you from spreading propaganda. This is if you get rid of those two, you're basically going to turn us into China, China Junior, and we're the United States of America. We're better than that. We're bigger than that. No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. The Department of Commerce, right? To get rid of the Department of Commerce, I'm gonna open this link in a new tab because I want y'all to understand what the Department of Commerce does, and I want to read it. Is an executive department of the federal government concerning with creating conditions for economic growth and opportunity. Among its tasks are gathering economic and demographic data for business and government decision making and helping set industrial standards. Its main purpose is to create jobs, promote economic growth, encourage sustainable development, and bar harmful trade practices from other nations. What is bad about that organization? What's bad about that mission statement? It's because it gets in the way of their fraudulent activities. Again, the blueprint seeks to institute tax cuts through through its writers disagree on the though its writers disagree on the wisdoms of its protectionism. What the fuck? What the fuck is protectionism? Sometimes I don't. Oh my god. Let me zoom out. Protectionism, sometimes referred to as trade protectionism, is an economic policy of restricting imports from other countries through methods such as tariffs and on imported goods and import quotas and a variety of other government regulations. Proponents argue that it's protectionship. So look, we can't do that. Okay, we can't do that because all of a sudden the prices of goods are going to go insane, and a lot of American companies aren't going to be able to sell their goods to other countries because we're being dicks. Project 25 recommends abolishing the Department of Education, which whose programs would be transferred to other government agencies or terminated. Basic research would only be funded if it suits conservative principles. That's insane. The Department of Education literally makes sure that we have some sort of standard. If anything, we just need to fund education more. The Department of Education ain't bad. It's just every fucking school in America is underfunded. Every single last one. I mean, okay. I'm kind of gassing a little bit. There's some private schools that's getting enough money. There's some public schools that are in certain areas that are getting enough money. But the vast majority of schools, I would say 90%, are underfunded, criminally, criminally underfunded. Anyway, the project urges for the explicitly reject abortion as health care and to eliminate affordable health care's coverage of emergency contraception. The Heritage Foundation thinks emergency thing, blah, 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 blah. So see, here's the thing. It's not abolishing abortion is simply about keeping the population at a certain level. And they think if all these babies aren't aborted, then more people are being born, and thus we'll be able to keep our current status quo. You know what I'm saying? They know the writing is on the wall that all these baby boomers are gonna fucking die. Okay, they're gonna die. That's just reality. All human beings, they die. The baby boomers, they're old, they're gonna die. Once they die, they're not gonna be able to, like, we're not gonna be able to replace them at a fast enough rate. Guess what? That might actually be good. There might actually be enough homes for everybody. There might be enough homes for everybody. There might be enough stuff going around, like resource wise, money wise, for everybody. It might be a net positive, and then we can reallocate our lives to being better. We'd be a better people, a better entity, like as a whole, because everybody would be able to have more. You still have the haves and have-nots, but it'd be better. The project seeks to infuse government with elements of Christianity. Project 2025 proposes criminalizing pornography. Um, I'm not mad if they get rid of porn. I'm really not mad if they get rid of porn. Removing protections against discrimination based on sexual or gender identity. No, you look. No, you can't discriminate against people because they choose to fuck somebody else or they want you to call them a man. Like I I I don't agree with that. Like they this what they're choosing to do. Okay, good job, bro. And keep it pushing. Like, there's no reason to discriminate against them. Like, that's what they do in their house. It's not like they're doing it to you. Like, are they coming to your house and they're like, hey man, you got to give me that booty? Is that happening? No, it's not happening. So I don't know why they want to get rid of it. Um, Removing protections against and terminating direct diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. So as well as affirmative action. No, that's not going to help anybody. That's not going to help anybody. And if they did get rid of affirmative action, guess what? The largest benefactor, white women, would suffer immensely. They would suffer immensely. Like just leave well enough alone, bro. Y'all are tripping. The project advises the future president to immediately deploy the military for domestic law enforcement and to direct the DOJ. You just said you're going to get rid of the DOJ. This doesn't even make sense. Are you guys dumb? To pursue Donald Trump's adversaries by invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807. It recommends the arrest, detention, deportation of undocumented immigrants across the country. It promotes capital punishment and the speedy finality of such sentences. Project director Paul Dans, a former Trump administration official, explained that the Project 2025 is systematically preparing to march into the office and bring a new army aligned, trained, and essentially weaponized conservatives ready to do battle against the deep state. You are becoming the deep state. Just admit it. Your policies are unpopular and nobody likes you. That's it. Dance admitted that it was counterintuitive to recruit so many people to join the government in order to shrink it, but pointed out the need for the future president to regain control of the federal government. Although the project does not promote a specific presidential candidate, many contributors have close ties to Donald Trump and his campaign. The Heritage Foundation has developed Project 2025 in collaboration with other partners to include Turning Point USA, led by its executive director, Charlie Kirk, Conservative Partnership Institute, including former Trump chief of staff Mark Meadows. He's like a convicted felon, ain't he? As a senior partner, the Center for Renewing America for Renewing America, led by former Trump Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought, and America First Legal, led by Stephen Miller. Uh, yeah, this is bad. This is bad. And when I get back, I'm gonna finish breaking. All right, I'm back for the final time. So listen, I know the length of this video was a lot. It was a lot, and it's a lot, and it's a lot to process. It's a lot to sink in. It's a lot to go, oh my God, like I can't believe this is really gonna happen. Like, yeah, yeah, that's what they want. This is what they want. This is what they want to do. This is what they want to do. And you have to just accept the reality of it. All right. Accept the reality of it. That's what it is. Okay. These people, they mean you harm and they mean your future generations harm. If you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your children. Okay. If you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your mother. Okay. If you can't do it for yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you're watching this and you know what I'm saying, and you're not a group that's going to be adversely affected, do it for your daughter that won't be able to get an abortion if she needs it to save her life. Because that's what they're going for, a total ban. Um do it for, you know what I'm saying, do it for the people, do it for your own job, do it for your own sanity, do it for if you say you love America so much, right? You love America so much, but at the same time you realize it's about to become an authoritarian state. You got to step up. You got to step up. This should be a motivating factor for liberals. This should be a motivating factor for people that are for America in general. You know what I'm saying? That just want us to see the process continue to go. And this is not something that's out there trying to better the process, trying to eliminate like really key problems that we kind of all really agree. Like for instance, I think the way in which we go about voting is a pain in the ass. I really do. I really do. I think it is. I think it is. Needless to say, thank y'all so much for watching. Um, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the information. Again, I'm sorry that it's such a long video, but I wanted to make sure I've really tried to cover everything and dot my T's and cross dot, dot my I's and cross my T's. I really want to make sure that I did that for you guys. Um, yeah, I'm gonna link to their website. Fortunately, if you want to read it, um, yeah, if you want to read it for yourself, you can. Like it's freely available. It's a really long read though. Like I want to be clear. It's a really long read, and there's a lot of extra mess in there that it's convoluted for a reason. Okay, there's no reason their agenda should be that many pages. It's like almost 1,000 pages. There's no reason it should be over like 200 pages. The reason it's that long is because it's convoluted. They're trying to hide the information. They're like, if the longer we make it, the less likely someone is to read it. But shout out to Jasmine Crockett, you know what I'm saying, for reading it initially and sounding the alarm and you know what I'm saying, and hopefully you guys educate yourselves too and you go out there and vote in good conscience and make sure we do not get Trump as president. Anyway, I'm up out of here. Thank y'all so much.